Hey everybody. So we're gonna get Erica on in a minute. There she is. Hey Erica, I'll pull you in a second. Live with Erica Arvold. Just doing a pin so everyone knows what's going on. Okay. Here we go. This is gonna be exciting. Live with Erica Arvold of Arvold Education. Let me pin this for everybody. There we go. Pin that comment. Alright, Erica. There we go. Dun 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 dun. Alright, we are connecting. Hey! How are you?
How are you? Sorry for the false start.
Oh no, you were great. No false start. So.
Oh yeah. Oh really? Oh good. Well, Priya saved me then. Priya, our unbelievable manager of education, is like, Erica, you're using your personal account and you're supposed to use the Arvold official account. I'm like, okay.
I saw that. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But no, welcome.
Anyway, this is fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brett. Good to see your face.
Yeah.
I keep hearing your voice as we chat, but I haven't seen your face in a while. So
I know.
that makes me so happy.
I know. Oh, thank you. You too. I'm glad to see that big smile of yours.
Yep, practicing it. I've been practicing it just for this.
Oh, perfect.
IG Live. See, I'm down with the kids. I call it IG, not Instagram. Right?
Yeah, no, same. IG all the way.
I learned that from a script. I learn everything from scripts, pretty much. Writers teach me everything about history, the world, how people talk, what things are called.
Right.
I just absorb.
I can imagine scripts are probably most of your daily life.
Yeah, I mean, I have to confess, like, I practically failed history in 7th grade or 9th grade, and I never appreciated kind of memorizing things and whatnot. And then when I started in this business, I somehow got involved with a lot of different projects, many of them historical. And I thought, what? This is payback for, my negativity about history. And I am so in love with history now. Like, I love these projects so much. I learned so much. The stories are amazing. And I just wish I knew when I was younger that translating dates, if I knew my brain well enough at that age, translating dates to, it was the winter and they were wearing these uniforms and they were probably cold, and if I just had pictured it and knew the environment, then I think I would have loved it back then. But that's okay. Better late than never.
Right. Well, I mean, your big history show, Good Lord Bird. I mean, talk about blast from the past. That's going to be awesome.
I know. I'm so excited. That was a ball. I mean, the other day I just brought my television, that is the screen I show videos on, to the producers and the director and everyone, and I think it's like 36 or 38 inch screen, but it's pretty light. It's like 25 pounds or something. I literally have lugged that from my car all around the set. It's like, is that in Ethan's trailer? No, we're going to meet where we have lunch. And I'm like, can you make sure I have a stinger so that I can plug in my TV? And like, I wish so much that I had a little GoPro or a camera following me around, because the idea of what a casting director does on a series and how we show tapes to producers and directors is just out of this world. Like, literally in the middle of State Farm in Virginia, under a tent, watching tapes on a big TV that I've hauled on the van, mind you, from the parking lot to set. Like, it's I don't know.
So there's physical labor involved in being a casting director.
I am a schlepper. I lug everything.
Right.
Totally. It's good. It's my workout. But anyway, it's rather fun, I love that, being on location and in person watching. And I think that's what really, most of the shows I cast, it is about in person and sitting there with people and watching and discussing it. And Good Lord Bird for sure was that way, rather than just someone getting a tape and then emailing back. Like, I just find that so impersonal. It cuts off my own creative process. So, it's nice.
So
nice to have that dialogue.
What do you? I mean, how do you think the difference between in person and a tape? Like, I mean, for you, how does that serve you? And like, what do you like better?
in terms of watching tapes in person with the producers versus sending them tapes, or
versus being in the room with an actor.
Oh, versus being in the room with an actor. Well, it depends. First of all, there's nothing like being in the room. Secondly, these days it's like all about Skype coaching or
Right.
Zoom coaching or whatever coaching. We're actually about to start a class. You're the first to hear of it. Dare I tell anyone?
Yeah, tell us, please.
So there's the self-tape R&R class has been so popular, which is great. But we're taking it a step further, and I don't know the title of it yet. Maybe we can come up with one right now on the phone.
Anyone? Any ideas? Anybody?
Yeah,
Throw it out there.
I want to call it a private-ish coaching class, because I want to have 2 to 3 students that I'm coaching for like 40 minutes each. So it's a whole 3-hour class.
Yeah.
But there are observers. So the observers really get to see what it's like to be coached live, because a lot of people ask me to one-on-one coach. I'm not in the business of one-on-one coaching, nor do I like the idea, and this is a little stick in the mud, and it's okay, of coaching for a specific audition, because I feel like overall coaching, working on a scene you want to work on, can be applied to auditions, can be applied to so much else, but the practice is yours as the artist. The practice
Right.
is so important to be able to apply it yourself. So when you are hired, you don't feel reliant upon a coach. You know what I mean? You just have to own it. And so if I did this coaching with witnesses or with observers, then certainly we can keep the price very low for observers. That's number one, especially at this time when everyone is, myself included, wondering where their income is coming from.
Right.
But hopefully it will really help more people than just the one with one-on-one, and maybe we can all help each other by going through the coaching process. So anyway, but it would, instead of just the self-tape class, which is flipping great too, and we talk about technical things, we also work on performance things, but it would be, the coaching would be different because it would be a whole lot of minutes with coaching a very specific scene. It just can't be something that's currently casting, but right now, do we have the problem?
Right.
We don't really have that much of a problem with that. So
Right.
anyway,
and
what do you think it should be called? Think I should do it?
Yes. I remember, when we were doing one of our late night editing sessions, you were telling me about this, and you wanted to have certain guests come in and watch, but I don't think I'm going to say who you were thinking about. But I'm glad it's coming to fruition and you're finally doing it. If anyone out there has an idea for Erica's private coaching class, go ahead, throw some ideas out there. Priya, Erica's office assistant, is in here, so she'll be writing down notes.
Hold on,
office
she's the
manager.
of
Sorry,
education.
Priya. Oh.
No, Christian's the, well, anyway, there's a whole lot there. Priya's the kick-ass, excuse my language, manager of education.
Right. Yeah, so she'll be taking notes in there. Hey, for everyone who's watching, there's a little question box down at the bottom. Hit that question box and throw in your question if you want something, if you want to ask Erica or myself something specific, and then we'll throw it across the screen and then we'll talk about that. Otherwise, for now, we're just gonna be ranting back and forth. So.
That's right. I want to know when the last time you took a bike ride was, because those bikes are looking really enticing.
Yesterday. With actually,
really?
You know who I met up with? Charles Green.
Aww.
Yeah. We were both wearing our masks though, so we were careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. We have these hooks up there, and it's actually a great place for the bikes.
So good.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Where's the questions at? Where's the questions?
Is it unprofessional for me? Go ahead, Fred. I just saw that one.
Is it unprofessional for me to put my own reel together on iMovie? Hey, use your resources. I always say that. If you know how to do some editing in iMovie, and if you make it look professional, then by all means, do it. There are definitely, you can watch YouTube videos to see how to better yourself with iMovie and just play an example. I wouldn't have a reel longer than 2 minutes though, and then also try to chew the fat, make it about yourself. And Erica, I'm sure you can throw some information about demo reels in there as well.
Yeah, we do this thing on Twitter called Feedback Friday. It's hashtag Feedback Friday. Anyone can, as long as they're comfortable putting it publicly on Twitter, anyone can tag us and hashtag Feedback Friday, write a little note first, that would be helpful. And I've always done this kind of in my, when I can find a corner and some time to write some feedback, and then we have a big old spreadsheet process, and then Priya or someone from the education team puts it on Twitter on Friday, and so people receive it on Friday. We're like 2 months behind right now. We have a good backlog. However, you know what we started doing? Twitch streaming Feedback Fridays.
Okay.
So I still do my own thing in my head, talk aloud. Whomever of my staff is on Twitch, we might discuss it, or I might just talk aloud about it. But if it's interesting to you,
yeah,
then you can literally watch me give feedback in real time. And then I type it, and then it still goes on Twitter. But it's a really, my kid's a Twitch streamer in games, and it's so fun to be able to enter that world and start to understand what my kid loves so much about it. And so we just did a test one the other day. It ends abruptly because my power went out. So it's a test. And then I think we're going to do another one next week, but we'll start doing it more and more, and we'll start advertising it. But you get the inside scoop now because it's a new thing we've been doing. And we're also developing a podcast.
Nice.
Which I have to check your availability for a test, I think on Monday, actually, Brett. I'm going to email you offline and see if you would help be a test podcast.
Sure. I love testing stuff.
Cool.
So,
Thank you.
Question. I know Arvold Education has an email list, and you guys send a newsletter out a couple times a month. How can people get on that email list?
Go to arvold.com, which is our website,
and
after like 20 seconds it will pop up. You can also go just on our website and click the MailChimp button on it to sign up. And if you have questions about classes, you can always email education@arvold.com. And we're on all social media, Arvold Official. And so we're pretty good about communicating.
Nice. All right, we are filling up on questions. Let me pull up a question and we'll ask one. Okay. Okay, let me see. I like this one. Here's a good one.
Okay.
Jawan Sanders asked, best way to market yourself on social media?
I think just be the human that you are. I don't think there's anything different about our personas or our personalities in person and on social media in a authentic way. I think if you're authentic with, just pretend you're meeting someone in person. You know what I mean? If it's calculated, I mean, I can smell that. There's one thing that keeps getting posted that I can think of right now, and I'm like, it is so desperate. It's just so, like, you just have to be human. You have to be human, share your work. Always share the credit.
Yeah, right.
Always. And
it's a collaborative art form, right?
It's a collaborative art form. It's relationships, so it shouldn't be any different on social media. If you're preachy or demanding, or without being invited, start direct messaging and adding all these videos. For me personally, it's just not gonna like. I just ignore it. Like, I have so many people that try to send me things directly. It's just not worth it. It's not worth that time and that energy. You know, you just have to interact as a human being. The most fun I had on social media was like 2 weeks ago, and I did some silly willy game. Like, literally, it was a picture, and I had to figure out how many shoelaces were in it or whatever, and I did it for an hour, and it was so amazing because I had interactions with so many different people for that hour I was on social media, and no one asked me if I'd watch their demo reel. No one wanted anything from me other than we just were regular old lovely humans together. And I just took, and that's the way to do social media. As soon as you need something from someone or you want to be friends with them because they can do something for you, that's smellable.
You can smell it. Right. So just keep
be
it
human,
keep
especially
it
now.
natural.
For goodness sake, no one has any power to do anything for anyone right now. So just be nice. To
well, now's the best time to start planting seeds and reach out genuinely to people. You know, to check in with people and to be, you know. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fairly well known. You know, I've been really sick, and I have been diagnosed, not tested, but diagnosed with COVID, and so I'm on week 7 now of recuperation, and I'm doing great.
Right.
But
Good.
the amount of support and kind wishes were just so overwhelmingly beautiful. And I'm like, here we go. Here's the gorgeousness of humanity right here.
Yeah.
And people weren't, I think only one person was like, hope you feel better. Would you look at my reel? And I was like, yeah, whatever. Ignoring.
Uh-oh. I hope they're not listening.
Well, I hope they are listening.
I hope
Learn
okay.
your lesson.
Talking about reels. Okay, so I saw a question. Okay, Adrian McLean asked, if you scroll up a little bit, real question. If you have a 2-minute scene with a series regular from a TV show, but they have more screen time, what's better, to have the whole scene or chop it down? Can I answer that first, and then you can answer?
Yeah, go ahead. I'd love to hear your answer.
So Adrian, yes, it's great that you've done a series regular scene, a scene with a series regular, and you have that attention. But your reel is about you. Your reel is about your essence, your talents, and your skill sets. Sure, chop it up, cut the bulk of their stuff out. The context of the scene doesn't matter as much as long as there's a nice clean edit that flows. The audience watching it will create their own context for it. But make it about you. And then also, I'd probably cut that scene, if it's 2 minutes, I'd get it down to a nice 30 seconds that shows the bulk of you acting, reacting, listening, and then having a little conversation. Show your best parts of that scene. So, Erica?
Yeah, I totally agree. What a demo reel is for, and what clips are for, is to intrigue someone enough to want to see more.
Yes.
So you never, ever, ever have to put the whole bulk to prove your worth. You want to put just enough of your finest, most authentic, vulnerable, magnetic, as in pulling them into you, performance, so they want more, and then cut it before you overdo it. So that's why reels can be short.
I love that you just said that, because I say that all the time, but it's great to hear it from a professional in your state, in your stature, and that's awesome. And yeah, I always tell people, it's better to have 2 great scenes than 5 okay scenes.
Totally. It's better to have a 30-second quote-unquote reel with one lines from 3 shows or 4 I don't know if that adds up, but than trying to put something from a reenactment show that's 20 minutes long and you want to
and it's all montage.
I think every actor, I just want to remind gently and to invite everyone to know that they are so worthy of exactly where they are in their career right now. That goes for all artists, frankly. Exactly where you are is perfect. And you're always going to be creating and getting better. I just started directing right before I turned 50, and I am a beginner, and I am trying to remind myself of that. And I have a lot of different things I can pull from, but it's so much more free and playful and exciting when you just are hunting for that answer or the curiosity or whatnot. And it's just when you feel you have to prove yourself, or you might not be worthy enough of playing at X level, that's where it really starts just sacrificing your own artistry. So if you can get out of that mindset, whatever tricks or meditations or whatnot, to know that you are so valuable exactly as you are, where you are, and own your artistry. Just own it in a beautiful, collaborative, respectful way.
Yeah. I've been really lucky to work, side by side with you in a couple of shoots now, and just see, how you really let the actors, and I've seen you direct, but just to see how you really get the artistic and natural abilities out of the actors and let them just be grounded in who they are. So it's great that you preach what you say, or you do what you say, and you put that on people. So it's
say
nice.
What you do what you say. We have a big our inside business, because I'm an accidental CEO now of over 10 years, because I'm an artist, and then I had a company, and it's like, whoa, I got to learn all this other stuff, which is great. I love it. I love being a businesswoman. I love having a female-owned company for 10 years, and we have 6 employees.
Your husband works for you.
Right now. Yeah, my husband now works. It's great. He's a writer, and he was like, he is literally the best writer I know. It's part of the reason I fell in love with him was his artistry. But the keeping the business together and keeping 6 people on salary is a really big deal right now for many small businesses.
Right.
We are in really good company, frankly. But learning to do that is also very much like my director brain also works in that way. It's a really interesting thing in valuing the person and what they have to offer. Is I agree with that, Brett, wholeheartedly. Now I forgot my thought. I went off on a tangent.
Well,
Anyway,
that's okay.
we go.
We got like a million questions. Let me pull up the next one. Okay. Here's a simple one. Do you watch auditions until the end?
If the question is, do I personally watch? You mean Sorry, I'm trying to think. Not to the end of like the time period of when they're accepted, but literally a single audition. Do you watch it to the very end?
Right.
If I need to, if I know sooner that they're great for the role, I might not watch the whole thing. I mean, for my office, I love mentoring, and I feel like a lot of times I'm the mentee of my associates in a lot of ways, you know? And we have very much a shadowing program in terms of how casting assistants become casting associates become casting directors, and their responsibilities to watch start to finish absolutely everything. So I'll have to watch the whole thing, especially if I'm going in person to the producers meeting and having a discussion, or there's a call with the director. Of course, I watch every single second of it. But for the ones that are not appropriate, no, I don't have to watch the whole thing, unfortunately. I can just, and that beginning is everything. Literally, you've got to start. It's like starting, I mean, I'm a former athlete, and literally it's like starting anything. Starting, when I row, you got it, like, when that coxswain says go, you got to go. I was a swimmer for years. You got to have a great dive off the block. You got to be ready to go right at the top.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question to follow up on that from myself. Yeah. So, what actually, when you watch an audition tape, what pulls you in right away, and what pulls you out right away?
If the world is authentic and the in-character thinking is present, that pulls me in. It's I don't care if someone's standing in front of a blue background. All of a sudden, I start seeing the waves because they're hearing the waves. All of a sudden, I can see the other character in front of them because they can see the other character in front of them. You've got to remember, and Brett, you know this, but the camera reads your thoughts. The camera isn't just there to hear the words. It reads your thoughts. So if you're thinking, what's my next line? The camera sees that. I see that. So if you're thinking, I wonder what they want here, I'm just going to be really angry, and you go in, that the camera sees that too. So it's got to be and it can't be on the page. And when I say on the page, I don't literally looking at the page. I mean, it sounds like you're reading the lines. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you getting another call again?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But if it sounds like you're saying lines, then it's not believable.
Right.
Frankly. So there's a trick I told a young woman that I was mentoring and teaching her how to write a screenplay, and she's also an actor. And I said, take every one of the lines and work it into your conversation over the next week, and fool your family to see you're losing power here or whatever.
Okay,
but
I'm sorry.
Can everyone see me or hear me still?
Yeah, somebody keeps calling me. All right, go ahead. Continue with that. I'm sorry.
But if you can work the lines into your everyday conversation, and no one can tell that they're lines from a script, that's a great litmus test to see how authentic and natural you're being. I mean, that's just one thing. And it's just obvious when someone either isn't prepared for the job or thinks, it's just an audition, do the audition like you think you're on set.
Right.
Enjoy it, have fun, journey through it, discover something new. If you approach an audition like you're just repeating something that you're trying to repeat it exactly because that's the interpretation, then you're not in the right place. You got to journey through it and discover something new about it, because that's what humans do.
Right. All right, I'm gonna do one more glitch because I got to continue the screen recording, but it's gonna be okay. But I'm giving you fair warning this time. All right. There we go. We're back.
One more glitch. All right, good.
Are we good?
I love Instagram Live is so exciting to me because I see the hearts,
Right.
and it's like it fills me with like so much dopamine.
Oh,
It's
and
really
here they come.
addictive.
Here they come. Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, right. All right. All right, we got more questions.
Okay.
Okay. From focused artist, how often do you need an actor's reel to send with an actor audition or callback for network studio approval?
Oh, that's interesting. Do I ever need it? No, but if in my office in particular, if it is attached as the last segment of like the EcoCast audition or whatever, I look at it and decide if it's going to help or if it's not going to help and pass it along more times than not. So having a reel, but remember, if it's for a network or studio show, the reel cannot be a homemade reel. It has to be something, and when I say homemade, I mean it has to have productions of equal production value or stature as the production that one is auditioning for.
Wait. So basically, so a network show wants to see network work in the actor's reel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's kind of a catch-22. How do the actors that don't have the network shows do that then?
They just audition. They're great at auditioning.
Yeah.
Leave them wanting more, remember?
Yeah.
Leave them wanting more. If you start putting an independent films are great too. They can be amazing production value. But if there's some very short scene that you did that was not, for some reason, production value equivalent to, say, a Showtime show, then I just choose not to share that with someone because their audition is so amazing that I put them in the best light. Like, I make that decision and say, that's not going to help them, because only if it will help them will I put it in.
Right.
It's not required.
And I think a lot of actors, I don't know if they fully understand that, they represent you when you choose them and they're going to the producers or to network,
Yeah, well, I mean, I literally get hired. Someone says, oh, I saw that show, and oh, I heard that your act. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have gotten jobs in the last 5 years in particular because they're like, different actors, you have such a wide array of actors that you reach, you understand the nuances of this, and I mean, I have hours of conversations with showrunners, and I mean, I'm a very collaborative casting director, and I don't know how some other offices work, but when I trained at offices, there were offices that were collaborative and there were offices that were less so, and I just enjoy working with other creatives. And I remember one show, it was way long ago now, but literally the writer was sending me their first drafts before sending it to the network at 3 a.m. and like, dude, can you give me notes? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I love this part. And so it's all relationship. It's back to those relationships, and who you love conversing with and are productive with. It's not like the producers and I are going and hanging out and just like being friends. It's not. It's a working relationship of how, some producers I'm friends with, but it's very separate than when I'm working with someone. It's creatively productive. It's like making the creative vision come alive in a different way, or oh, this was, a male role. Why not make it a, non-male role? Why not, bring someone in of that's, different than the description, but maybe, and I always have a reason. That's why I love the writers so much, is I always I don't just make a suggestion without making it make sense, Yeah. Like, I'm like, what if we gave this line to this person because they would have more, and then this would make sense? And like, it's a tightrope, right? I have to have a really good relationship with the writer to be able to suggest something like that. But,
well, and you have to know the story and the show really well to be able to give those suggestions.
Absolutely, the whole vision, and understand where they want to go and what the moral compass of the show is, and what the environment, what they're really trying to say, what the social responsibility of the show is. I mean, it goes pretty deep and pretty meta fast, honestly. These shows that are being made are not. No shows that I've worked on are purely for entertainment. There's always a backbone of a responsibility that they're doing the show, and I maybe that's just the people I work with. but that understanding and knowing that is so important.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. Like to say that. I mean, and there's always someone above somebody else that makes a decision whether this is going to move forward or not too.
Oh yeah, everyone has a boss. Everyone, including the bossiest boss. They have the boss.
Right. All right, let's see. We have a ton of questions in the box.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're only three. This is a whole hour, right?
This is a whole hour. So
yeah, we got 30 minutes.
We're halfway. Do you recommend having self-tapes that already have aired on TV as part of your reel?
Oh, interesting. Meaning the audition?
Like having the audition, right. Like even if they didn't get it, but they had a great self-tape, putting that in their reel.
I think it depends on what the content of the rest of the reel is. Because having an audition on your reel pretty much means you don't have anything else to put on there yet.
Right.
But if you have some professional productions, then you don't need to put your audition on the reel. I mean, there is some cool thing going on social media right now, talking back to that very first question, is some people are putting their actual performance cut with their audition material. And that's really, I think that's kind of fun to see. I've watched a couple, I think Alex and Lana, I think both have some that they've done, which is really fun to watch. Is quite, I think, helpful and educational for other actors to see how close that actual audition is to the final performance, frankly.
Right. No, I love seeing that stuff. I love watching the audition tapes and then seeing the job. But I think when you see a tape or an actor that's just great on tape, you're like there's just a feeling. You're like, wow, there's a reason. When you watch that audition tape, you're like, okay, I know why they booked that role now.
Well, exactly, and I think every person that's listening to this right now, I would ask, just think of a scene that you have seen in your life on television or on the screen where you thought that actor was unbelievably compelling and couldn't imagine any other actor ever playing that role. Just whatever it is. For me, Michelle Williams in Blue Valentine. No one else could play that role, in my personal opinion. Which is also my litmus test for who should win the Academy Award, by the way. If I'm recasting it in my head, that person doesn't get my vote. But that concept of who you just thought of, who you're thinking of, that's the exact same muscle that casting directors use when watching tapes. It's no different. We all do it. It's just a matter of what sticks, what makes you feel something, what do you want to watch again, what can you not stop watching. There have been times where I have literally no time. I've got to get tapes to, the studio or whatever, or the director, and I literally can't stop watching an audition tape because I'm just in love with this person. I can't stop. It's 2 more minutes. I'm not gonna stop it. And that's what I think people talk about, gut instinct. That's what gut instinct is.
That's good. That's nice. All right, let's see. We got a million other questions. Here's an interesting one. Is Atlanta a good market for Latinas? Thank you. Oh no. Sorry. I almost turned you off.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I just did a show. It was the star series regular of a show for a friend of mine who, a casting director in LA, who actually, funnily enough, was my assistant when I was casting in LA, and now she's this big fancy pants casting director.
Nice.
It's great. And she hired me to do some location
It all
searching.
comes full circle.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, see, be nice, everyone. Even after 20 years, it makes a huge difference. But I love her so much. But she was really having a hard time finding the lead of truly the lead of a new show, so a series regular, but the star. And I found her in New Orleans, and it was so exciting. And absolutely, it was a Latina role, and boy, oh boy, did I find a lot of amazing actors in the whole Southeast that were appropriate, that were frankly getting test deals and whatnot. So I think it's a great time to be a non-white male. Sorry, Brett.
Right. Yeah. Well, I got to work on the producing and cut the acting for now. So.
You white males have had their turn for a long time, so now we're just balancing everything out.
Right. Well, I'll just make my own show for now, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome. In my book, everyone's welcome. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's been going on television now is like incredible. I mean, television is so epic.
Oh, I just saw Madison. Madison, you're on here. Yay.
Hey.
I was just talking about you earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. What about? I'm watching The Expanse right now. Is that what you were asking me? What I'm watching? It is my husband watched it when I was so sick, and now he's making me watch it with him because he loves it so much. And it's really good.
I'll have to check that out. Anne-Marie's not a big sci-fi girl.
Yeah.
But if I trick her into watching something and she gets hooked, then we can watch it.
Yeah. Well, I think I love watching it because also Ted, literally is like, wait, pay attention to this. Well, wait till what happens. He's this whole commentary the whole time, so it makes it really fun for me to watch.
Well, and then he could always pull the whole, Erica, you have to watch this because it's research for your career. So.
Well, exactly. And Jeremy Benning is the cinematographer, and I don't know if anyone knows Jeremy Benning on here, but he is flippin' amazing. So I keep meaning to call him or text him and say what a great show, because the cinematography is incredible on the show.
That's pretty sick. Hey, Darren, thanks for the shout out. I appreciate that. Darren Darnborough of We Audition. We Audition's an awesome platform for actors to audition and things like that. All right, so from I Am Kianta, what is your casting process?
Oh boy, that's like asking an astronaut what their process going to the moon is. That's a big one.
That is a big one.
I mean, I read the script, see if I like it, if I think I can serve its vision, add to the creative process, get on the same page with the director and the writer, make sure budgetarily it all is doable in my mind, figure out where they're shooting, break down the characters, really rely heavily on my associates and my assistants because they are a mandatory part of this very complex process that starts slow and then becomes a giant tornado and hurricane where you have no idea what's happening and things are flying, and then slowly but surely it all dissipates and you've somehow magically have put a puzzle together that makes sense. And the responsibility that I take, because I have such strong associates and assistants, is that I want to make sure that no one is cast that looks so much like a series regular or that look like each other, and not to confuse the audience, and make sure that we can really expand, if there is a character that is written a specific way, that we can be more inclusive in whatever way we can. I make sure that especially if we're doing day player roles, which happens quite a bit in the Southeast, that we don't have anyone stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, I can't tell you how many times a director, a producer, or even a studio are like, we need amazing, authentic, seasoned actors for the smaller roles, because when you miss that, the whole show, it's like a thorn in the whole show. It is so palpable. So you just need to make sure that whole ensemble is working together. So it's a very wide answer to your question, but there's all this pragmatic stuff, but I'm much more involved and conscious of the overall creative of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you something. So I think a lot of actors, I don't know if they understand how much work goes in before you actually start seeing actors, and how you are actually reading the scripts. You or your team are creating the breakdowns. So tell us a little bit about that, and you gave it some insight, but just how much of that stuff are you doing?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, I would say sending out a breakdown and all of that is I don't know, maybe Madison will type something in here, because maybe that's 30% maybe maximum of the job. Right. I mean, the other thing is on large shows, which we do, very lucky to do many of, or large feature films, navigating the communication between the many producers and studios and making sure that the approval, like on television, the approval process, like on one of my shows that I was doing just before COVID, it was a 6-step approval process, which really, and each email might have between 30 and 40 people on it, including the CCs, and each email is a different bunch of people. So like when I say like it's so, but I've had friends that are series regulars on shows, and they're like, oh, holy cow, I didn't know that making a television show was a process of communication in addition to the creative stuff.
Right.
So there's just so much, yes, like making sure what we can say on the breakdown, getting that approved. I mean, there's so much communication that goes on that the idea of bringing an actor in, watching a tape, and then casting them is a small percentage of the entire casting job. It's the most important part in a lot of ways because that's what you end up seeing on screen.
Right.
But it's almost like if you think about overall filmmaking, like when I'm producing, let's say we have 8 months of, pre-production or even development, and then 6 to 8 weeks of pre-production, and then we shoot for 15 days, right? So think about the casting process. The shoot is what it is, and then there's all the editing afterwards and stuff, and like the actual shoot of any film, that takes 2 years to produce, which is a pretty reasonable and fairly short amount of time, frankly. So out of 2 years, if you had 15 to 20 days of shooting, that's the same ratio in some projects, of that, looking at actors and selecting them. It's not it's also, it's really hard. Every project's so different, but I'm giving you an extreme of the pendulum swing, but it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Right.
I think Kathy Rankin, who I love, Kathy and I used to work together in LA years and years and years ago. And, but she just made some post about what a casting director does, and she wrote all these amazing things. And I'm like, Kathy, that's like great, but like you could have gone and, I didn't tell her this, but I thought, she did a really good job, but you could also add more and more and more to that list, even like it's nearly impossible. So it's a lot.
Yeah, I think, I've had, working on both sides of the camera, over these however many years I've been doing it, I've been able to understand, that for the casting director and the actor, we kind of have a similar career path in that we book a job and then we're searching for the next job.
Absolutely. Casting directors and actors are codependent in the best way. Casting directors would never have a job without actors, right? And actors maybe wouldn't get selected in certain arenas without a casting director. So I really, I think it's a beautiful collaboration, frankly. And I agree.
Awesome. All right, let's pull up another question. There's a couple things about accents.
Don't let the accent lead the character. Let the character drive the scene, and let the accent be secondary. That's my comment about accents always.
All right, here's a once in mind. Okay, hey, so Emma Love. Hey, I live in New York City, but I'm from Richmond, Virginia. How do you feel about actors submitting for a project? Oh, I wish I could read the whole thing. Hang on, maybe I can see
it's all about local hire. I'm sure it's all about local hire, which is one of the most complex matrix, whatever. The thing is, if the schedule changes and you need to be on set in 3 hours, can you make that happen?
Right.
That's the thing. If you're called to have a costume fitting, can you be there in 3 hours?
Right. Let me ask you this. So I know, like a year ago, some of the agencies in town were getting in trouble because they had a lot of actors that were in LA that they were putting self-tapes, and then basically, they'd be like, all right, can that actor come in tomorrow to make a director session, and actors weren't showing up or just being on set. What is that like? What kind of position does that put you in as a casting director?
I'll get fired.
Really?
I'll be fired from the show if I mean, that's really extreme, but like, no, I am vouching that that actor is truly available under the conditions that they say they are. And so as soon as that actor's availability somehow changes, or, oh, they didn't tell us the whole truth about where they are, I'm absolutely fine to advocate for an artist if they live in LA, they, have 100% confirmed a million times and have proved that they can easily hop on a plane and be to set, and I can rely on them, then I am so happy to vouch and tell production, look, here's the thing. They really have an address in Atlanta. They really are a local hire. They just happen to be in LA right now. They split their time, but I've worked with them. I know it's fine. I do that all the time. But when it's someone who tries to pull the wool over our eyes and says, no, they're there, but they're really in LA, and then something happens, guess who gets egg on their face?
Right.
Me.
Right. And that's just like a domino effect, because the actor says something to the agent says something to you say something to production, and then it all falls backwards the other way, too.
Exactly. And then the agent, let's say the actor pulled the wool over the agent's eyes, and then my relationship with the agent goes downhill because I'm like, well, agent, why don't you not have an honest relationship with your actor?
Right.
And agent, why can't I trust you again? So it is. So I think being transparent and say what you do what you say. Period.
That's good. That's what I was trying to say before, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's pull up another one. Okay, here we go. For a 1 or 2 line role that is taped, is 3 different takes too many?
Yes.
What do you prefer for those co-star roles, auditions?
I mean, I prefer you to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I also prefer for you to know that those co-star roles' primary function in the script is to either help or hinder, meaning help the plot get along, go further along, or hinder the plot in some way. So you have to understand what the functionality of a co-star role is. And no co-star role will ever remain in a script because it's expensive, not only to pay an actor, but to pay for an additional honey wagon, to pay for additional costumes and food and catering. And there's so many things that it costs production to have even a one-word role in a script, that at every turn that could have been cut. So by the time it begins casting, you have to know the value of that one-word role is mandatory to the creative vision and to the plot of that script. And so when you walk in, you need to have a full character, you need to do all your preparation, and then your main priority is to absolutely serve the function of that script and get out. It doesn't mean throw it away. It doesn't mean it's insignificant. It means that the function of the role is paramount.
And that's just the work that the actor's doing, whether they have that information or not of what it is, they have to create it.
Exactly.
And that's something.
And that's a human character. That is someone who had learned to ride a bike when they were 5. That is someone that has worries and dreams and secrets and has dealt with life. So it needs to be a fully multidimensional character, but with the primary focus of serving the function of the plot.
Yeah. Now, I've been lucky enough. Here's a plug for you. I've been lucky enough to be involved in several of your pure prep classes. And I mean, that's exactly.
We had one last night. It was awesome.
Really? Was it live? It was live. It was.
We're doing every Wednesday from 6 to 8. That's right. Through the month of April, we have them. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I mean the steps that you lay out for actors, and it's funny because I've heard you say it, you've had big actors look at these steps and be like, oh, that's just what I do naturally, because there's a method to the madness that works.
It's the same thing it's the same thing Denzel Washington and Meryl Streep and Viola Davis and Felicity Huffman, and it's the same. It's Stanislavski. It's the Western methodology of acting, and people can call it many, many different things. But what Richard and I have done is really taken some of the most poignant and accessible steps in preparing a character for theater and condense them into 10 very significant steps that hopefully will create in a small amount of time a multifaceted character where you feel much more prepared to audition and or do a co-star role on set. But the thing that's so magical is these 10 steps can take a lot longer, and they can be used for a lead in a film. And so why not start your practice, and hopefully everyone has their own practice, so these 10 steps hopefully will integrate with what someone already loves doing, you know. But the idea is that if you start using them for even the one-word roles, you get better and better and more, agile at going through them. So by the time you grow into being asked to audition for the guest star roles and then the lead roles, you actually have a practice that you are familiar with that will stand the test of time, if you will. So you're not all of a sudden, it's a lead role, so now I have to really look at what a day in the life is like. That's not, you can still do that with the one-word role as long as you keep in mind that functionality we talked about earlier.
Right. Liliana Page, she asked, do you recommend all actors take the classes regardless of their experience?
Absolutely. Study. I don't care who you study with. I mean, come study with us. I'd love that. But really, you should study with as many people from different perspectives and walks of life, and study all. I mean, aren't we all just wanting to always move forward and improve and expand? I hope. And
class is the building block of your career, of your acting. You know, like that's your building block. And also, I love live theater too.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Oh, Crystal. There's Crystal Brown. Just take the class. Yay.
Okay, here we go. So
She's
MD Stanley. Oh, hey, Crystal. So MD Stanley said, talk about the difference between clips and reels, and hope you're feeling better. Mike Stanley. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. I am feeling better. Tons better. Clips. A reel is when you really have a body of work over a period of time and you put it together so you can kind of show maybe your last year or 2 years or 5 or 10 or 50. I mean, I have a casting reel. If you guys want to see it, go on our website. It's so fun putting it together. I think it's dated 2018 now, so I've got to get clips from our recent stuff, but it was so fun putting it together. And it's very rare a casting director has a reel, so that was really cool. So seriously, go on there and look at it.
Really cool.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I work in reels, so my brain.
That's awesome. But a reel embodies moments of your best work over a longer period of time. Clips are from shows. Maybe you've done 2 shows, you're going to have some clips for their shows. And clips to me are more like when you're on Actors Access or breakdown services and you've got things that are separated. Those are clips. A reel is a compilation of those. But if you're using it's interesting because in my mind, I'm just old school, and like a reel is it's a body of work that you're highlighting, and a body of work is not 1 or 2 shows. That's not a reel yet. Those are still clips to me. But there's a Venn diagram in there. Some people use different words for different things.
Right. Hey, we are about to come up on our hour, and Instagram actually cuts you off. Would you be willing to do another 15 minutes if we stop and restart?
I have a meeting and I can't. I'm so sorry. I would love to, truly, but I have to. Well,
then maybe we'll schedule another time to do another one of these. Because there's still so many questions and so many people are obviously engaging. But maybe we'll set something else up. But in the meantime, do you have anything else, last words, or how we can find you and so on?
I mean, go to our website, look at our education stuff, because that's what sustain. I mean, I'll be very frank. That is literally why our company is alive right now, is these education offerings. And we're offering so many for pay what you can and free, and we can't do that much longer because we have to sustain ourselves. Right. So any help you can give, just know it means the world, truly. The thing is, we have to continue to come together. This is a long haul. From what my sister's a doctor, from what I hear, all these things, we're going to be in this boat for a while, and we have to love on one another and sustain our creativity and be kind, because not every day do I want to work Not every day do you want to work. It's okay. I know there's a lot of stuff out there saying work on your craft, audition for everything, do all sorts of these, open calls. I think maybe I want to give myself permission for this, so I'm preaching it to everybody else. So take it for what it's worth. But it's okay to not want to do all of those things. We have to also just enjoy our lives right as they are. And those are my parting words.
Yeah, awesome. And then just for everyone still listening, we have a couple more lives coming up next week. Chris from BYSB Talent, an Atlanta agency here. We have Rod G, who is a producer at Stage 13, a Warner Brothers company. I got a couple other people coming up as well, so keep an eye on the LA Reels, the feed, so you can see what's coming up. And then if you check out lareels.com, I got a great article about monologues, and then lareels.com /store. I got a free casting director guide with pet peeves and interviews with some other casting directors in LA. That you can download for free, and there's monologue books as well and some other cool stuff. If you need editing, feel free to hit me up, Brett at lareels.com, and any questions, feel free to email me directly for anything else. Erica, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you're good, and your team is the best, and I look forward to working with you girls and guys in the future. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. Right back at you. Talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this chat. Okay.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.